Governor Pete Ricketts has been holding daily news conferences for weeks, but he has been unable to answer some questions on how the prisons are dealing with the coronavirus. That changed today as Corrections Director Scott Frakes spoke at the news conference. He says all inmates and staff have been ordered to practice social distancing and have been given a mask. Reporter John Kipper tells us about one thing they're refusing to do.
As the coronavirus has spread throughout the country, a variety of states have opted to release some inmates early in order to control it in some of the prisons. Governor Pete Ricketts, along with Corrections Director Scott Frakes, said today that that's not going to happen here in Nebraska for a variety of reasons. While around 2,000 of the state's 5,600 inmates are considered nonviolent, Governor Ricketts says many of them are in prison for a very serious offense. Frakes says public safety is also his number one concern, worried there could be more victims, and saying the conditions are not good for some inmates to be released.
This is not a good time to be coming out of prison. I can offer housing, climate-controlled housing, food, clothing, recreation and work opportunities, good health care, programming, in a relatively safe setting.
One staff member at the Nebraska State Penitentiary has tested positive for COVID-19. Frakes says they've been at home for 15 days. He also says 0 inmates have tested positive for the virus or even shown symptoms. But as some states have shown, it could get bad. That's why these 2 men were protesting outside the state pen in Lincoln this afternoon. Paul Feilman wants to make sure the state has a plan.
If it gets inside and starts spreading, it could really cause a major disruption in the way that the prisons are running.
Frakes says all inmates are quarantined for at least 2 weeks when they enter the system, and the prisons have the capacity to quarantine more inmates in case of an outbreak. He declined to release specifics, partly because he believes if too much information is given to inmates, there could be a backlash.
Unfortunately, people will read more into them, or they will make assumptions about what we're saying, or they may read it exactly correctly and realize that it's going to impact them in some way that they're not happy about.
Outside the pen, you could see some inmates wearing masks, others not, with many much closer to each other than 6 feet. Frakes says it's a balance, trying not to get too heavy-handed while also making sure the inmates know the dangers of COVID-19.
Trying to avoid using the information, the education, as opposed to the hammer of, now we're going to punish you because you won't do this.
Reporting in Lincoln, John Kipper, 3 News Now.
Visitations have been canceled for around 1 month. In exchange, prisoners have been given double the amount of time to make phone calls.